look nice.
Thanks. So do you.
Thank you.
Your hat matches my shirt.
I know, that's the whole reason why I did it.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, but I like your shirt too.
Yeah. I had to go with the OG.
The OG?
Yeah, for this episode. Yeah.
Why? What's special about this episode?
Episode 52.
We're at a year.
1 year. 1 year.
We've been doing this for 1 year.
1 year.
Crazy.
1 year.
Crazy.
We said we were going to bring them something every week.
Yep.
And we've done it 52 times, 52 weeks.
Yes.
1 full year.
Yep. I'm excited.
I
That's
am too.
commitment.
That is.
That's commitment.
That is. We said we were going to do something. We planned it out. We had some ups, downs, high, lows, but we did it. We stuck with it.
We showed up.
Every single week.
Every week.
Yeah.
Even when the baby would wake up. Knock
Yep.
on wood. I hope he doesn't wake up tonight.
Oh my goodness. I hope it doesn't happen tonight. But yeah, no, we made it through some trials and triumphs.
Uh-huh.
But we here.
I'm excited.
To a year.
We got the champagne.
Oh yeah, the bubbly.
We got the bubbly to celebrate with you guys.
Yeah.
Do you want to open it now or do you want to wait until we go on audio?
We can wait till we get on audio so
Okay.
they can hear us and we can talk with them through it. So
Okay, cool.
y'all didn't get my yo. We back one more again. Episode 52. 1 year. All right, you ready to do this?
I'm ready. I'm excited. It's going to be a great episode.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our 1 year anniversary episode of Success in Black and White.
The podcast. We are back in the house one more again. We are back one more again.
For 1 year.
For 1 year. Episode 52.
We're excited.
We
if you
are.
Can't tell.
We're celebrating this thing because we
sure
made
are.
it. We said we were going to do it and we stuck to the plan through the highs and the lows, the ups and downs, trials and triumphs. We made it.
We did.
1 year.
Yes. I'm so excited. I can't believe it's a 1 year episode. And we have so many fun things for you guys planned this week.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think y'all want to stay tuned this week.
Yes. I am going to say watch our social media accounts because we have some really cool giveaways, gift cards that we're doing, all kinds of fun stuff. We have a hilarious bloopers reel that I can't wait to put out because it's really funny.
Oh man, it's going to be funny.
So that's coming out on Wednesday, and that will be out and that'll be on our YouTube channel and all over social media. And then, yeah, just stay tuned because we've got giveaways. We've got a lot of things just to thank you guys because you guys have been rocking with us. A lot of you have been rocking with us since day one. And even if you haven't and you're rocking with us now, we love you and we appreciate you. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I see
and
that.
This episode is going to be so much fun. So much fun. I can't wait. But first, I want to pop a little bubbly.
Okay, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to pop the bubbly.
Right, because we got to celebrate that it's been a year.
Okay, let's do this without you shaking it up.
Oh, right, I'm trying not to shake it up.
Come on, hold the thing steady.
Okay.
All right, are you going to do it or am I going to do it?
No, you got to do it because you know I'm not strong enough to do this, cork.
All right, let's try not to get this everywhere.
Yeah, and don't hit like the camera because... You know.
Oh, yeah, because we're recording?
Right, that wouldn't work very well. And don't hit me.
But try my best not to. I'm going to try my best not to spill it because I don't want to have to clean it up. But here we go. I'm going to let y'all hear it. I'm going to do it right here. I'm not going to get it. I got it, baby.
Okay.
We good. Why you flinching?
I trust you.
You know I got this.
Yay, and it did not explode.
Oh, come on now. This ain't my first rodeo.
I know.
This is what I do.
Let's grab our glasses.
Oh, you want me to pour? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let me set the cork down right there.
All right.
See if I can pour you a little bit.
This one for you.
Oh, that's for me?
Yeah.
A little splash.
A little splash. All right. I'm excited. This is good. Okay, so Daryl, that's a little, you can pour me a little bit more.
Oh, I thought you said a little splash.
You're so stingy. Why are you being so stingy with the champagne?
Don't be moving now.
Oh, my bad. Oh.
Stop moving.
My bad. Fill it up.
Stop laughing. You laughing and you moving the glass.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's plenty. Oh, baby. Okay, that's good. Oh, hey. See?
Oh.
Wait. Just let me show you guys. Look. Daryl's glass.
Who's the lush around here?
My God. I didn't mean that much.
You said keep pouring. Oh, come on now.
Okay, so, hopefully
we're going to set that down so it don't fall. There you go.
Okay, I'm just going to put it down here because
all right.
We got some good stuff we got to do, and I got my computer open over here, so
let me set that over there. So what are we doing? Are we toasting to a year and then we're going to get into this?
Yes, let's toast. So we're going to celebrate. Thank you guys.
Thank y'all.
For sticking with us, for being amazing, loyal fans and family, really, because so many people write into us and you guys tell us that you love us, and we love you just as much for listening and for watching.
We appreciate y'all. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Yay. Okay.
That locked my jaws up for a second there. We still got to do an episode. I can't be sipping on that.
I know.
That thing locked my jaw. Okay, one more before we get started. It locked my jaws up. I was like, wait a minute. I still got to do an episode.
We still got to do an episode. Ooh, I'm excited.
Oh, cheers again to me.
Cheers again. We should have brought the orange juice out. Could have mimosas.
All right, so we're supposed to be doing an episode.
We're not.
We celebrating, but she's talking about mimosas and all this.
No,
good
we
stuff.
do. We have it. This is just a warning. If you're listening to us, obviously we have been. We can talk through this a little bit too. But I would say, like, in the very beginning, we used to have episodes that were like an hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We've really been sticking, like, we made a commitment to stick to under 45 for most episodes in the past, like, probably 20 episodes. So we've been trying to do that because we know it's hard to listen to an episode that's really long. This one's going to be a little bit longer than your usual 45 minutes because we are going to be bringing to you our favorite moments throughout the year. So we've got clips from our favorite episodes. We're going to play them. We're going to talk through them. We're going to tell you where you can find them if you want to go back and listen to those episodes. But these are our favorite moments throughout the year. I'm excited.
I am.
Yeah. Daryl, I want to give you a shout out because you're amazing. Okay. This man sitting next to me is amazing. I love him so much. I've only had 2 sips of champagne before I say this. I really do love him so much, but he is the technical mastermind behind everything we do in the podcast. I mean, literally, he is the producer. He is the music editor, the sound editor.
Yeah.
He is the one who pulled together all of our clips that I was like, out of 51 episodes, you need to go through and find these 15 clips that I need you to get. And he went through and got it, and he put it together in a way that I will understand it and it will work with my brain, because good luck with that. But he gets it and he figured it out. So thank you, because you're amazing. And you have been doing this.
For the people.
I know. But he's been doing this every single episode. We've never outsourced.
Nope.
Except our intro and outro music.
And music, yeah. One time for DJ Vance.
Yes, so thank you to DJ Vance, who's been amazing. So other than that, and to our amazing photographer, Claudia Guerrera.
Yeah.
You guys have been awesome. Other than that, we've never outsourced.
We've done anything ourselves.
Videos that you guys see, production clips, those are all us. All of the podcast editing, everything is us. So big thank you to us.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
So before we get into our favorite clips, I want to ask you, because we've had this really long, big year. When we first started this podcast, I feel like our goals have shifted with the podcast.
Oh, like 4 or 5 times.
As to what our original intent was and to now what it's become. And so I'm curious for you, what's your biggest takeaway, however you want to talk about it, from this podcast?
I think my biggest takeaway is the people that we have impacted and that have reached out to us in appreciation for what we're doing and how it's helping them and how it's motivating them, how it's inspiring and encouraging them. That is definitely my biggest takeaway, because you know me, when we first started this journey, looking at all of the the podcast ins and outs online and how they say that you are supposed to rate your success, and things like that based on your podcast. That's kind of how we were engaging ourselves. And, probably about half of the way through, I finally realized that measuring system didn't work for us, because what we were trying to do and the people that we were trying to help were getting what they needed from us. And that's what mattered more to us than the measuring system that was online or that is in the podcast world. And now we did meet some of those, and we obviously were trying to find ways to make our podcast better every time. But all in all, just the response and the feedback from the people, how we've encouraged, inspired, motivated them along the way is what has been beneficial to me and kind of given me the motivation to keep doing this and to keep making it better and to keep putting out content.
I agree with that, because I think that we really wanted to listen to what you all wanted and needed and were taking away from us. And for us, what that looked like was just upping our game. I mean, we talk about leveling up all the time, and I really want to stop and pay just homage for a second to the fact that we started this in a certain, for a certain endeavor in a certain way. And very quickly we realized that the people listening to us and the things that they were taking from us weren't exactly what we thought in the beginning. And so instead of trying to force ourselves into what we originally set out to do, we just kept shifting along with what we were hearing people were taking from us. I think that's why, if you guys look, especially if you follow us on social media, we try to put out content in every single possible way that we can, because we realized we have a very large and very broad audience. And some people are consuming just audio. I'm one of those people. I prefer strict audio, strict podcast, because I like to listen to podcasts as I run or as I clean. A lot of feedback we were getting was that people really like the quick hitters. And so if you guys see our express clips, those are very intentionally usually 60 seconds and under, and they're snippets of our audio and our video that are really the hard hitting. This is what you need for today. Here's our knowledge drop. Take it, run with it, do what you need with it. And so you're going to see us as we evolve, you've hopefully seen us as we've evolved throughout the podcast to continue to bring you more and more. But you'll see us continue to evolve just based on how you guys are consuming it and how you need your information.
I definitely agree with you on that. And because it's kind of funny because our audience is so broad, it seemed like the message and what we stand for and what we're about and what we were putting out is what they needed. We just had to find different ways to engage with those different people within our audience.
Right. I mean, we're serving 18 to 50, 55, sometimes 60-year-old. We've had a few 60-year-olds and more.
Yeah, and that's what's showing up.
And that's great.
Yeah, that's what's showing up in the, on our...
Yeah, in the stats and the demographics, which we should check more, but we don't.
We don't check it because that's not why we're in it. At first, we were checking it, every other day? Every other day,
and now we're like, hey, have you checked in a while? And you're like, not since February.
No.
But that's really cool. So for me, the biggest takeaway from starting the podcast into what I would consider us being officially podcasters after a full year, my takeaway for this is leaving a legacy. And yes, for you all, like Daryl said, but I think about our family. I think about our kids. I think about when they're older and they start listening to all these past episodes. Some of them are about them. Some of them are just about us and the things that, we think. But every podcast episode is true to who we are and to our values and to what we believe. And for me, that's us leaving our legacy, not just for the world, not just for you all, but for our kids and our future grandkids. And it's just kind of exciting to think about us leaving a legacy like this.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool for him to sit and watch back. and Vaughn will be like, Oh, that was me in the background that woke up and I was screaming and y'all had to pause to come get me. You know, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so those are mine. So let's get into the really fun part.
All right.
We're going to go through kind of the evolution. We chose clips from our favorite episodes and some of our favorite clips. And so we're going to play some of those for you guys. So the very first one is our very first episode, which is one of my favorites. And I will say, even though we haven't checked the stats on this lately, it is by far our number one highest listened to episode. So let's hear a little bit from it.
I'm going to sit back while we listen.
Coming to you almost live, well, live for us, but you guys are going to hear it on a replay in a week. But this is our very first podcast, and we're really excited to just be bringing you a little bit about our life, our business, our relationship, our successes. We're going to do that for you every single week. And with this being our very first podcast, we wanted to go ahead and just introduce ourselves and who we are as a couple and what we've done with our business to you. And so my name is April, and I'm one of the co-hosts of this show, and my wonderful husband is sitting right next to me. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Daryl Love, the other co-host.
Yes, and so we are going to talk today just about us.
Wow, we've come so far.
Yeah.
We were just like newbies, like...
We literally didn't know what to do.
Didn't know what to do, how to pass it off, how to talk.
Yeah.
The audio was just...
I know.
Horrendous.
And do you remember we recorded in like this really big space, which we thought was the only space we could find?
Yeah.
And the audio was terrible. We had one mic. That we were sharing. I mean, it worked.
It did.
It worked really well.
For a lot of episodes.
For a long time.
Oh my goodness. Just listening to that, I'm just shaking my head. I'm just like, wow.
That's so funny. I love it. So that was our first, that was like our intro. But let's keep listening in.
All right, what's next?
Okay.
Tell my story because I know they're very different and they don't line up. And mine is probably more accurate, but but I can definitely start off by telling my side of the story, how we met. I can remember meeting you for the first time, even though I had seen you before I met you, because you were on campus like a while before that, and I had seen you, but I just didn't know who you were. And then when we first met, you didn't really like me. You didn't really care for me. You avoided me, and I was just like, well, all right. If you don't like me, I don't really know you, so I don't have to like you. And that's kind of how our relationship went for, the first couple of months until you had to talk to me. And then I was like, well, okay, she will talk to me, so I guess that's a start.
Yep.
That's not, that was your perception.
Nope. Hey, it's down in the books. It's recorded. It's on a podcast. It's been out. People have listened.
It's been out for a full year.
Plenty of downloads.
Yeah, a lot of downloads. A lot of people have listened to that one.
Yeah.
I know, but I guess your perception is your reality.
It's the truth.
You still didn't like me.
It's the truth.
Okay, wait, let's keep listening.
All right.
So I guess that's a start.
Oh, my bad.
I really feel like I should clarify
This part.
like some of what you're talking about right now. So first of all, he said on campus. That's because we both work at a very large institution of higher education at Florida State University. And I remember, this is what I remember from when I met you. I don't recall having seen you or met you before this, but...
I know I saw you. You were walking away. And I knew who you were when I saw you.
Daryl knows everybody all the time. But I came in and I had actually interviewed and I had gotten a job. And what I didn't know while I was interviewing at the time was that Daryl was also interviewing for the same job that I ended up getting on campus. And so when I got here, I don't know if it was like a preconceived notion in my head.
I saw you. That's where I saw you at the interview. You were walking away from when you were here interviewing, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I found out who you were because I know you weren't here yet. And I was like, all right, okay.
So when I first met Daryl, it was in a job capacity, and I felt like he didn't like me because I had gotten the job that he applied for. And he's like over there shaking his head right now. But that was my perception, and that was, you know, kind of how we just worked then. So at the time, we both worked in very similar positions in the same department, and we had to work together, but we neither one of us thought the other one liked each other. So I think we spent the first 6 months while we were working together, we didn't really talk that much unless we had to.
She didn't like me. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, so not true. Well, so I guess that is everybody's story is their own story, right?
Yeah. If she did like me, she did a great job of pretending like she didn't.
That's not true.
Very true.
That is not true.
Very true.
I feel like this is going to be an ongoing fight for the rest of our lives.
Very true. You know what I can't get over though, like listening to that.
What?
The quality. I'm just
I know.
Oh man, it hurts me to my heart just because of how far we've come and how much I've learned.
But you know what? I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually kind of like it because it shows that I feel like this shows, and you keep talking about doing like a how-to podcast video, right?
I started.
You did start. And it's because it shows that anybody can do this. Like everybody has a story to tell, and anybody can tell that story through podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I like that it shows that. But we do have one more clip from this particular episode. Because
right.
one of the reasons that we heard that people listen to this episode is because they want to know about us and about how we met. And then after they find out that we didn't like each other, how we actually came to like be married and have kids and a business together and like, you know, actually like each other.
She's trying to slip that in there. She didn't like me, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
She tried to slip that in there. Don't tell us we didn't like each other.
No,
she didn't like me.
You didn't like me either. This is going to be an ongoing fight.
She didn't like me. Hit play.
Mm-hmm.
I was like this nerdy, like, third grader who, like, had a new friend, and I just felt so good about, like, wow, we're finally friends. And it must have been, like, June or so, maybe late June of that year, that I had to move out of my place. And so Daryl helped me move in with my new roommate, Kelly, who shout out to Kelly if you're listening to us. But he helped me move in, and...
That's right, I remember that.
Yeah.
I sure did. All of this extra large furniture that you had.
We were so grateful for you.
I'm thinking, like, she just moved here, and, you know, maybe I have to move a couple of fold-up tables, and maybe a couch or something.
That's not how I roll.
No. And I got over there, and I was like, I need to go back to where she don't like me no more, and she uninvite me. She had this massive furniture that was ridiculous to get out, break down, and load up.
Oh my goodness. I still remember the night that I moved into that apartment, and Kelly brought all her stuff, and I brought all my stuff, and it was like playing this ridiculous Tetris. Yeah, it was like a game of Tetris, furniture Tetris, to get all of our stuff inside that living room. So we had like 2 couches and 2 overstuffed big chairs and like 2 TVs and like 5 ottomans. It was ridiculous. So Daryl thought it was funny. Kelly and I were trying to rearrange everything and make it fit, and he thought that was hilarious. So I think he stayed. And then he started coming over just for dinner and stuff, and Kelly and I always hosted, like, random friends nights, like, we'd have dinner and stuff, and I always noticed that Daryl would stay a little bit longer, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so great that we're friends now. Like, that's what I kept thinking, like, this is so amazing, we're friends. We'd host family dinner, we called them family dinners, and it was everybody from our department that we were friends with. And he would stay, and I was just like, this is so cool. But I still, like, in my little brain, I was like, there's no way. Like, I didn't see him that way, kind of like he said. Like, I didn't see her that way for a while. And I think eventually it started to transition. Like, we just spent more and more time together. He would stay over, like, not stay over, but he would just stay longer than everybody else. And
she said stay over. Not yet.
Not yet. But he would stay longer. We had the same interests. We just talked a lot. There was I had a back porch off of my room, and so when everybody would leave, we would go out there and just, like, drink a bottle of wine between the two of us, and we'd talk about life.
Sanctuary.
We called it the sanctuary. And we would just talk about our life in general. Oh my goodness. We would talk about everything. Like, I think we knew almost everything about each other just from talking to each other at that point. And so it was like probably really late summer, beginning of fall. And we were back out on the sanctuary, and I had, like, started to have these feelings for him. But I was, like, scared, you know? Girls, like, you get scared. Like, there's no way this guy could like me, or, like, maybe he's playing me. Like, you don't know, you know? So I finally got the courage to just ask him, like, hey, what's up? Like, what is up with us? You know, I feel like we're always spending time together, and I kind of feel this certain type of way. Like, what is up with you? Like, how do you feel? And I don't remember the entirety of how the conversation went, but what I do remember is he sat up, and he looked at me, and he goes, okay, we're going to do this. And I said, I guess so. And he said, yep, we're going to do this. And then somehow in that conversation, we talked about how we felt about each other. And that was the night of our first kiss, was on that back porch in the sanctuary.
So that was our when we fell in love moment in the sanctuary. Actually, that was not our fall in love moment.
I don't know what she's talking about over there.
But that was when we decided that we were going to take things a step further.
Yeah, that was that. We can definitely say that. That wasn't fall in love. That was like, let's kiss.
So romantic.
And say we like each other a little bit more than we've put on for the past however long. Not the fall in love moment. Go ahead.
So romantic. So romantic. So that was all from episode 1. And throughout the rest of that episode, we talk about our initial purpose for doing the podcast. We talk about our business. We talk about a little bit more about our family. And so that's been a really good podcast that people keep going back to just to listen and get more about us. So then our next episode is one that was our very first one that we did live. And like actually live, not like when we say, oh, we're live from the house, but like truly we were live on a Facebook Live, and we did the entire thing live. So that's this one. Hey everybody, we are coming to you for this week's episode from our cruise ship.
That's right, live from the cruise ship.
Yeah, well, live. Actually, we are doing a Facebook Live session right now.
Yeah, everything is live.
Yes, so shout out to our Facebook Live watchers. We're excited that you guys are joining us. But we are, coming to you from cruise ship, which is super exciting. We are on a vacation/retreat, which Daryl was not super thrilled about. But
no, we have a full agenda, outline, binder, tabs, pens, highlighters, you name it, we have it. So when you say vacation, it is definitely a 50-50 vacation/business trip.
But at least we got the 50.
Yeah, the 50 is good. I can't,
we're
argue about that.
Yeah. So, that was our very first live, but that was actually a really good episode.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Making tough decisions, right?
Yeah, making tough decisions. Yeah. It's actually another one of our really highly listened to episodes. Popular one. Yeah, it's a very popular one. I think the live can still be found on the Facebook group that we had. We still have the Facebook group. We
still have the group, but you have to become an insider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that whole video is still there. And we recorded it. Literally, we had a balcony room on a cruise ship, and we recorded it like off the balcony. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So let's listen into a little bit more since that was one of our most popular episodes.
All right.
Yeah, we did.
Like,
very naked.
Butt cheek naked with paint, and that was it. And not just one, not just two. I mean, multiple, many.
I gotta say though, much love, because I don't know that I could actually do that in front of other people.
Not at all.
So I'm good for you if you have that kind of body confidence.
So here's my thing, and then we're gonna get back on topic of our update. So we saw this guy, and I'm upset that I saw it, but I did see it, and he had on a thong.
Yeah, he did.
And that was it, just a thong and then some paint. And he went into this establishment and he sat down on a bar stool, bare booty. And in my head, I was like, I would be so upset if I was the person that came and sat down on that same stool after him, because I doubt that they walked around with sandy wipes and wiped off the stools. And I was so grossed out and disgusted. And I just wanted to just like take a cup of water and walk over there to him and just like splash it on his booty.
Gross. I didn't even think about it.
What?
But oh my gosh, that's disgusting. And
Yeah.
we sat down. We got a drink in the bar with a guy wearing a wolf hat
He had
and
a
a
wolf
woman
hat.
wearing a croc hat.
A
I don't
croc,
know. They
yeah,
had, like,
with antlers on it.
Yeah, so that was part of our vacation.
That was part of our
Slash
vacation.
business retreat.
Yeah, definitely. What was that day called?
Oh my goodness. Was it like, Fantasy Fest?
Yeah, Fantasy Fest.
I wanted to see Fairy Fest, but we did see a lot of fairies.
We saw some fairies too.
They were all naked.
Yeah, Fantasy Fest.
Yeah.
We just happened to pick the weekend of Fantasy Fest
Yeah.
to cruise
We were
to
in
Key West. And it
But we
was-
did have
yeah.
a really interesting bar time with some very interesting people
Yeah.
who were not fully naked. They just had some weird stuff on their head.
Yeah, they had weird stuff on. They were partially though. They had like animals like skin draped over them
Yeah,
and
that was
stuff.
kinda weird.
So yeah, ugh.
It was weird, but we tried to make the most of it and then just headed back to the boat.
Yep.
It was fun though. So then we can kind of get into the meat of what we talked about, because that was a fun episode. I say fun, but it was really kind of hard hitting. We talked about when we bought our house, which was the craziest house buying story you can ever imagine. And we talked about when we found out we were pregnant with our first child, who she's very loved and she was not planned. So let's listen into that.
April came over and like came in normal, just like nothing was going on, and it wasn't a big deal. And I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Gave hugs and kisses. Good to see you. And she was just like, "Hey, so what would you think if?" And I was like, "Wow, that just kind of like came up abruptly. Like we didn't even like have our casual. How was your day? My day was good. Good to see you. So what would you think if I told you that I thought I was pregnant?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" She was like, "Yeah, what would you think if I thought I was pregnant?" And I was just like, "We're gonna do this. Let's do this." And we found out that it was true through how many pregnancy tests? Like 2?
Yeah, I took 2, but then I had to go.
Yeah, we
blood
went
confirmation.
Yeah, so she took the 2 pregnancy tests, and then I was like, "All right, cool." And then we set the appointment and went to the doctor's office. And they did like their blood work and stuff, and they came back and they was like, "Yeah, you're definitely pregnant." And
That's what she said.
Yeah, she's like, "No, you're definitely pregnant."
And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, she was like, "Okay, cool." And I don't know how much you want me to go. Like, I don't want to take away from your first part, and then we'll go to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to go to the doctor's office?
No, so I'll tell my version.
Yeah, you tell your version
Okay.
of that, then we'll go to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so that night that Daryl was talking about, I remember that night so clearly. So I had not been feeling well for a while. And so I want to start off, too, by saying that Anna is an absolute blessing. And
Yes.
from the minute we found out, like, no doubt in our minds, we're like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to keep her. Now, getting
Yes.
to the... like how we do that, is kind of what we're going to talk about in the decision making. But we knew right away, like,
we love her and she was a blessing. Yeah. But it was still unplanned. It was kind of a surprise for us.
Oh, yeah, it was a big surprise.
It was a big surprise. Yeah. So it made it a harder decision.
Yeah.
So, when that same night I had not been feeling well and I was working at, we work out in the same place.
Yep.
And so I remember seeing him, I was working out and taking a spin class and I went and he's do you feel okay? Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know, I just feel so weird. Like, I don't know if I'm getting sick. I don't know what it is. I just feel very strange. And this is a point in my life where I was coaching running in the morning and I was training for a marathon, like a 26 miler in the afternoons. And so I was very, very active. My eating was super clean. I was probably like in the best shape I'd ever been in. And so I just didn't feel right. So I got out of the spin class and I was like, well, I'm going to go home, I'm going to shower, and I'll come over to your house for dinner.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, okay. So I go, and on the way home, I'm like, I feel really weird, and it just kind of hit me, like, maybe I should stop and get a pregnancy test, which is probably, like, looking back now, the point where I should have called Daryl and been like, by the way, I'm going to stop and get a pregnancy test, and here's why, and I didn't do that.
No, I did not get that.
No, he didn't get that phone call. There was no prep. I just was like, no, it's going to be negative anyway, but, like, I'll just take the worry out of my mind. So I took it and I hopped in the shower and I got out of the shower and I was like, I started to like do my makeup and I thought, oh, I should probably check my pregnancy test. Like that's how little of a concern it was in my mind. It was just like I'm going to get rid of this worry. And when I checked it, it was positive. And I think like my breath stopped. Like I stopped breathing altogether and I was like, that is not what I expected to be on that test. True story.
True story.
True story.
Oh, yes.
That was, I still remember that night. I still remember getting out of the shower, forgetting to look at the pregnancy test because I was like, I wonder what we're going to have for dinner. Let me think about that. Like not even thinking twice about it. And then like halfway through putting mascara on one eye, I was like, maybe I should look at this pregnancy test. And there it was.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you want to find out what Daryl said when I told him and when I actually told him that night, we talk all about that. So go back and listen to that episode. I think episode 5. Well, before we started numbering them.
We 50, 52.
Making tough decisions. We'll link it below. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen to that one. So the next one, that's one of our favorites, was one of our interviews. And this was a really fun one. This was our family. And so I am excited. I think we can explain a little bit more. Oh no, because we jump right into the story.
No, we jump right in.
Yeah, so this was my sister and my brother-in-law. And so Daryl's sister-in-law and brother-in-law. And we interviewed them about their relationship because these kids had been together for over 10 years before they got engaged. So they have a really interesting love story and we wanted to talk to them about that. And I have a lot of really funny stories about my sister because, you know, we grew up together, obviously. So listen into this one. Chantel, when she was younger, was like super rambunctious and very hyper.
Only imagine.
And I remember one time, oh God, we were, gosh, as you were really little, and so was I. But obviously I'm like 4 years older than you, so when you're kids, like that's a big difference. Well, I was sitting on the living room floor and I was trying to play poker because I thought I was cool trying to play poker, and you were like 4 years old, like running around like a banshee, and you were like going through all my poker stuff, running through it. It made me so mad. So I took a poker chip and I threw it at you, and it was.
I don't remember this at all.
I know, but I do. It was really hard, and for whatever reason, because ever since then my aim has never been good, but that one day my aim was really good, and I hit you in the face with a poker chip.
Oh my gosh!
So,
I don't remember this at all.
Hold on for a second. Let me jump in here real quick. So you mean at the age of 4 and 7, Reve and Wayne was buying y'all poker chips?
Yes, they were.
Poker 7 and 4 years old, they were playing poker with a full poker set, chips and all. Come on now.
Hey, you know, my parents wanted to teach us early.
Oh, I see that. They did.
I'm still just impressed with my aim because ever since then, I'm not coordinated, or I have no aim. I have no skill with anything like that. So that was amazing.
Only thing that she can throw is an attitude.
Oh,
Throw a fit.
It's true. It's true.
And landed accurately all the time.
Oh, but it's true. So what we really wanted to talk to them about was actually their proposal story, because it's a really cool story. So we're going to play that for you also. I want our listeners to hear the story of how Brian proposed to you, because that is a really cool story.
Take it away.
Well, the pressure was on because we had been together for 8, going on 10 years. I was getting
Somewhere up there.
Somewhere in that range.
The numbers were high.
I kind of lost count. It has been a while.
We honestly did lose count.
Once you reach the decade mark, it's just kind of
It's just
like,
kind of there.
Yeah.
And we had just come off a trip to Europe. We did Amsterdam, Paris, all around. And
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we were all, like, as in Chantal's family, surprised that when you guys were in front of the Eiffel Tower,
You think it would be the most romantic place to do it, but no. And Brian would always prepare me. We would go on these trips, like to New York or to Paris and Amsterdam, and he would say, "Okay, let's just sit down and talk for a minute, just to let you know, I'm not going to propose on this trip." And he would literally tell me, because if he didn't tell me,
you'd be in
then
tears
the entire I wouldn't be in tears, but the entire trip, I would keep thinking, like, is he gonna do it now? Is he gonna do it tonight? Or maybe he's gonna do it tomorrow night.
On edge.
That's a good
So
move.
it's honestly, looking back, I'm really glad he did that, because I used to put myself through that on certain trips we would take, and I'd be like, okay, maybe tonight he's gonna do it, and
then you would be
he wouldn't,
sad,
and I'd be upset.
This trip was terrible.
So actually, we did really enjoy Paris and Amsterdam because we had no pressure of, like, thinking it got to happen. So.
but the pressure was on.
But it was still there. It was still there.
Right.
And I had started the process, got the ring. And it was a magical year with the Cubs being
Because Brian is the world's biggest Cubs fan.
the world's biggest Cub fan. They were in the playoffs, looking pretty good. We had made that mistake before, back in 2008. Didn't happen, but this year was the year.
The year of 2016.
16. And we had, let's plan a trip to go watch the Cubs. Let's go, one of our favorite movies is Fever Pitch. Let's keep it going, keep the tradition going. And I thought I had an idea of where to do it, where to go, and nothing ever kind of came to fruition, ticket-wise, trying to get on the field, everything was shut down, didn't have a lot of options, so I reached out to a couple friends, and they said, it was burning a hole in my pocket, like, I gotta get this done.
Put the ring on the
Let's
finger.
We had gone over to the back of the stadium, randomly the Fox Sports broadcast crew was back there, I didn't even think twice about it.
Well, first we were hanging out with your friends, longtime family friends who live in Wrigleyville, and we were hanging out with them all afternoon, and knew we were going to the game that night. So you obviously had the ring with you that whole day in
my
backpack that you took for the day. And which is just crazy thinking back on it. Like the entire time he had the backpack, and I could have, like, opened it up and seen it, but your family friends knew this was going to happen, so they were kind of in on it too. And we were walking to the stadium, and you kept taking these random pictures. I think you were just, like, trying to see if the lighting was good or something, because it was nighttime, and I thought it was weird that you were just taking, like, so many weird pictures on the way to the game.
Yeah, slowpoke soaking all the atmosphere.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, this is just like his dream. This is his world is coming together. And so yeah, we were on the backside by the bleacher entrance, and there were a ton of people around, which we, obviously with playoffs, and it was Game 6 of the NLCS, and the Cubs needed to just win this game to clinch, so it was a very exciting game to go to. And we were walking up to enter on the bleacher entrance, and I was the one that was like, hey, let's take a picture before the night is gone and we completely forget, because we get wrapped up in the game.
So, not even thinking, you didn't even prompt it, not even thinking anything of it. We, take a picture right in front, and his family friends are taking the picture. And then all of a sudden, right after we take the picture, he gets down on one knee and proposes.
So that's their proposal story, part of it. And the other part that you don't hear is they actually ended up on Fox Sports Network. With their proposal, which is really cool.
We were on vacation somewhere.
Yeah, we were at your parents' house.
Yeah, we were at my parents' house.
And we were actually, we were flipping back and forth because it was the World Series and the Cubs were going and we're, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but Brian and Chantal are. And so we were kind of going back and forth because it was the first time the Cubs had really been there, but we were switching networks and we missed it.
Yeah.
But they were on Fox Sports.
We went back, though, and pulled it on a tablet, though.
Yeah,
so
it was cool. So if you want to hear more about how that went through and more about how they got on TV that night, go back and listen to that one, which is In It for the Long Haul. And we'll link to that in the show notes, of course. The fun part about that night, I remember we were in our living room. This is before we started, all of these that we're playing right now are before we started actually recording ourselves on video.
I wish we would have had video for that one, though.
Too, because that was
my gosh.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And some of the stories, when I told the story about Chantal almost getting arrested outside of the bar, the look on her face was so funny. So anyway, go back and listen to it. But the fun part about that night was we were usually recording at that point. We never drank while we recorded. We only had water and coffee. And that night, we were like, it's night, and you guys are over, and you're visiting us, and we're going to record. And so we all had wine, and then Brian had tequila. So he just made it a whole other level of party that night. It was fun. Our next clips are from our, by far, most popular series that we've done. And they keep getting listens and they keep people keep going back to this series, and it's our interracial relationship series. And so we're going to play a couple clips for you from that series. But it was definitely it's still one of our most popular.
For the listeners out there, you're going to get to see what it's like to not only be in the world of April and I, but to kind of see what it's like for other relationships that are similar to us, being interracial. And then also you can look at it from a friendship perspective as well, and how if you're engaging with friends who are either in interracial relationships or friends that are just a different race than you, because a lot of it overlaps. And I think that when I was reading through some of the responses, I was able to pick that out and to understand that it wasn't just our relationship, being that April is my wife, but relationships in general. And that's something that we talk about a lot in it.
Yeah, so that was kind of the premise of that series. And so that was the intro. That's what we talked about. And we did our research. We talked to 30 other couples in that series and asked them about their experiences being an interracial couple. And we got those couples from all over the world, which was really, really cool. So that series was so much fun to do.
Yeah. Well, we only took 30. We got way more than 30.
We did, but we took the best.
Well, we appreciate everybody that submitted if you're listening.
I mean, the best stories.
Yeah, they were all great.
Yeah.
We picked some pretty good ones.
Yeah, the stories were really, really good.
Yeah, they're really good.
I definitely encourage you. It's a 4-part series, and so I encourage you to go back and listen to them. But we're going to play a couple clips right now. The first one is a story from our experience. One time happened at the bank.
Yep.
And then there was one time, maybe in a Dollar Tree or something, I don't know, somewhere ridiculous that we went to pick up something just random.
Yeah.
And so it's happened a couple times, and it's kind of I don't know if you want to get into how it makes you feel, but for me, it just kind of makes me feel like, oh, people still don't think that we should be together, and they wouldn't put us together, and they just make these assumptions that why would we be together because of the way that we look and because our skin color is different.
Yeah, I remember in the bank, you was in front of me and you walked up, and I walked up with you, and they told me, "Oh no, sir, you have to stand back there and wait behind you have to stand back there and wait behind the little partition." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm with her," and they were like, and they looked at you for confirmation.
That's right, I remember that.
I was like, no, I'm actually with her, and they gave you that look, and you was like, "Oh yeah, no, we're together." And then I walked up there. No, that's why I definitely remember that debate. They tried to send me back.
That's right. I almost forgot that story.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But no, how it makes me feel.
Yes. I remember that.
They was tripping on that day. I'm trying to give them money. I'm trying to deposit money with my wife.
Yeah.
And they sending me to the back of the line.
Yeah. That was definitely one of the many experiences that we talk about in that series. Although the one that I really wanted to play that I never put in here. Yeah. Oh, no, I did put it in here. Never mind. We get to hear it. The next one is, I think, just another iteration of one of the things that we have to be really careful about when we're out and about.
Like sometimes I'm with her, and if we're in certain places, we're out and about, how I approach her, I'm very aware of that because, I don't want people to think that I'm attacking her. I don't want people to think that I'm trying to snatch a person and run. And sometimes, like when I'm dressing and I'm just chilling and I'm out and I got on some sweatpants and I'll put on a hoodie with my hat on in a heartbeat. And like I may walk up to her and put my arm around her waist because I can do that. And I can immediately see people start to get like very tense and like start to stand up and make moves towards us or whatever. And then I'll look at her and she'll tell you, I'll pull my hat off, I'll take my sunglasses off, and I'll kind of, straighten up a little bit and come out of that chilling mode just to make my presence a little bit more comfortable.
And I have to understand the role I play in that. Then I'm responding to him like, not just hey, let me focus on the kids while he does this, but I, make the effort to turn around and respond to him and like, I'm your wife.
Like, it's okay.
It's okay.
And it happens more often than you would believe.
Often, yes. True. And it still happens.
True story.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
All the time.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's just, again, you can go back and listen to these, but it really is just another way that in our multifaceted lives of being in a relationship and being a family and being parents and trying to work through that, we also have to deal with the differences in our skin color. And so this was such a great series. We've got one more story from it.
Maybe we just need to wear these signature tees all the time, and when they see them, they'll be like, "Oh, well, they got on the same shirts, they matching." So,
and they say success.
Yeah.
So maybe they're successfully
maybe
a couple.
So. Maybe so.
Okay, we got one more story from the series.
Remember when we were living in our old place and our neighbor and that guy, they were fighting and screaming and it sounded like they were throwing stuff. And then it escalated and we heard doors being slammed and kicked.
That was terrifying.
Cursing. And remember, it moved outside. So I was looking out the window, remember? And you were standing there, you were like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And I'm like, I don't know. They are over there arguing and this dude, his demeanor looks like he's about to like smash this lady.
Yeah, it was scary.
And I was like, dang, I want to go out there and just intervene and maybe be a sounding board for him and maybe not protect her, but just intervene so that at least if he does try to do anything, like I'll just be there. And I'm usually pretty good with talking to people. And we knew the couple.
And we knew them.
Yeah. But at the same time, and I told you, I was like, if somebody called the cops and I'm over here intervening and the cops pull up, who do you think is going to be the first person that they approach and that they talk to?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be the two people that's out here fighting. And they were both white. It's gonna be me.
Yep.
I'm gonna be on my face in this dirt.
Yep.
And the cops gonna be asking them the questions while I'm on my face in the dirt.
Right.
I told you that.
I remember, and I was like, I'm all about protecting people, but you've got a wife and a 1-year-old.
And she kept me in that house, and she would not let me go outside to intervene or to at least talk to him.
Right.
Because, like I said, I knew them both. We both knew him.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could have intervened and could have helped.
Right.
And he did he kicked in the front door. He did a bunch of stuff. And would you believe it? How many minutes? It was probably like 3 to 5 minutes. About 3 police pulled up, and they actually pulled into our driveway to park there to get to the next door people. So it was one pulled up in our driveway, one pulled in their driveway, and one kind of blocking the street. I mean, probably 3 to 5 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad that you held me back and didn't let me go out there, because I guarantee you, if he would have been trying to fight her and I would have been holding him back or separating them, the cops would have came, and I am almost 99.7. I don't know how I got to 99.7, but 99.7% that they would have snatched me up off of him from holding him back and would have put my face in that dirt.
Yep.
I remember that. And I want to say, as terrible as our home buying experience was, I am so happy that we are in our home, and I am so happy that we don't live in that neighborhood anymore. Because there was another story, and I think we talked about it in the very last episode of that series, the interracial series, about a time that you almost got picked up by the cops just for being in our front yard doing yard work.
I was out there doing yard work with protective gear on. I had my face covered up, my glasses on, boots, gloves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad we don't live there anymore. And I think you would still have to be careful, but our neighborhood is a little bit both better and still diverse at the same time. So I think it would have been, I don't know. It was not a great time for that at all. But the next episode is loving your partner. And this was one that we did. We kind of always found like the holidays, and we did something for the holidays. Like the interview we did with my sister and her husband was around the Thanksgiving holiday. And then we did a holiday special for Christmas. And then we ended up doing a loving your partner for Valentine's Day. And the reason that we love this one so much is because we did research again, and we got a bunch of couples to tell us some things about loving their partner. And so the whole episode is really good because we talk about how couples got together, their love stories. Some of it's really funny, some of it's really sweet. But yeah, I think we're just gonna play this very first clip from the Loving Your Partner episode.
And we asked, so I should tell who we asked this to. So we got feedback from both women and men this time.
That's right. The men came through for me.
They did. They were awesome. So we're going to talk about actually some of the differences too, which is kind of fun. So the first question we asked was, when was the first time that you knew you were in love with your partner? And we got some sweet stories back from that. But what I took from that was, if people knew in less than 6 months that they were in love with their partner, or if they knew in more than 6 months, it took them more than 6 months to know that they were in love with their partner. So 80% of our couples said, what do you think?
They knew within 6 months.
Ooh, yeah. True story. True. Ding, ding. Good job, T-Sweat. So, yes, they said that they first knew they were in love with their partner in less than 6 months.
That's right.
20% said it took them longer. I had an interesting response from one girl who said that she said that she loved her partner really quickly, and they've been together for 5 years, but she didn't know until 3.5 years into the relationship what love really was, and how much she really loved him, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, so that one was really fun.
That was good. I like the wedding story, or not the wedding stories, the proposal stories.
Oh, yeah, we had a lot of proposal stories.
Yeah, we asked for some of those. Or the I love you stories, too.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun episode.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a really good episode.
Go check it out.
Yeah, that one is Loving Your Partner. Link in the show notes. The next one, we did an entire, it was like a 8 or 9 episode series on the School of Leadership. And we talked
Was it
about...
that many? I thought it was like 4.
No.
Or 5.
2,
Do we
3,
split some of
4,
them
5,
up?
6, 7, 8. It was at least 8.
Okay,
It might have
all
been
right,
9.
all
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
When you get to 52, you lose count.
you lose count. But it was such a good series. So something that Daryl and I have for a very long time, after we got over hating each other and started really working together, we actually are a dynamic team in how we teach leadership. And so we took that to the podcast in the School of Leadership series, and we talk about leading down. We talk about leading across, like leading your peers, and we talk about leading up. So how to best not manage, but lead your boss or your supervisor or like people in the C-suite, right? So we talk about all that in the School of Leadership series. It's a great series. And here's a quick clip from that series.
Everybody, this is impromptu right here because I actually have notes and she have notes. But I want to know, what would you do if I sent you an email like this to give you feedback in our relationship?
Ooh, so I
I'm
would,
curious.
yeah. So I would probably call you and be like, what
I'm just curious.
happened? But no, I mean, that would be, an email like that would be very telling that you felt like you couldn't come to me and say those things to my face. Or that something was very wrong in your eyes, that you had to, send an email about it. And sometimes, like, sending an email can get out what you need to get out.
Right.
And like, you do it better than having to talk to that person sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I would be pretty taken aback
Yeah.
by that. And I think because our relationship is established
Right.
and solid, it would definitely bother me and we would talk about it. But I feel like the position that you could be in, like say our relationship was newer, or
Right.
it was like an employee-employer relationship, I feel like I would feel much more threatened, and so I feel like from my vantage point now, we would just have a very long conversation about that and about, let's work on the communication aspect. But from your vantage point, as an employee receiving something like that,
Right.
or even if you were, say, earlier in our relationship, I feel like on either side, we would feel threatened by something like that, an email or communication like that.
Right.
And how do you not,
Yeah. I'm assuming that I would probably have to bring my feedback gloves to the conversation with you. No, and the only
But I would win.
the only reason why I asked that question, because I think it's also a good transition point, but just the morality of giving feedback, I think, is transferable between
Agree.
any type of relationship. So our relationship, which is more personal and intimate, or people at work,
Yeah.
or anyone else, I think the foundation piece and the morality of it is consistent all the way across the board.
I completely agree.
Yeah, so that's why I asked, because
Yeah.
Yeah, so that clip is from our actually really popular, we did a 2-part series on giving feedback and receiving feedback, because that's one of the hardest things to do, is to receive feedback. But I remember that story well because you talked about a time that a supervisor actually gave feedback to an entire team that was very negative via email.
Sent out a long email
Yes.
that was very aggressive.
Yes. And then asked people, like, he told people what to do, and then didn't he have a talk with you afterwards too?
Yeah, we talked afterwards.
It was a very negative, very aggressive email. So you guys will have to go back and listen to that. But that was definitely that 2-part series on giving and receiving feedback is also one of our most highly listened to.
Definitely.
And it's one that we actually point a lot of people to when they talk about getting into fights with their significant other, or how do I talk to my boss. It's a really good, those are both really good episodes on how to kind of navigate some of those difficult conversations that you might have to have. So I am super excited about the next one. This one is on video. So we did video this one. Actually, I think we videoed the feedback ones too.
I don't remember now.
I think we did.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure those
We'll
are
have to go
on
back
video.
and
We'll
look.
go look.
Yeah.
But this one is definitely on video. This was a really fun one that we did. And this one was from the story, or from the episode, She Touched Me, But It Wasn't My Fault. So just tune in. So we were at a bar. We were out at a bar, and it was like an end of the year celebration. Because we were with coworkers and some of the students that are like of age who had graduation and the end of the year.
Hit me. I know where we're going. Oh man, you about to go ahead. You about to bring this up. Go ahead.
And I was talking to some of the graduates in the back of the bar, and neither one of us really like drink that much, so we maybe had like one drink or something, but it was later on in the night, and so a lot of other people were drinking a lot. And I'm just gonna say, like, you should be flattered by this, because
I am.
You're a very fine man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I'm very attracted to you, but so are a lot of other women. And I was in the back talking to graduates, and you went up to the bar to get us a drink.
Right.
And when you were at the bar, there was a girl up there who this is like so bold, and I couldn't even believe it because I never would have done this.
Very bold.
But it's just a different generation, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never would have done this. But anyway, so you were up there at the bar, and she came up, like, I guess behind you, and like somehow got you to turn around, because I think you said, oh, I thought it was one of our students, because we were literally out with like students who had graduated and were leaving, like, just to say goodbye. And so you're like, I thought it was one of the students, and I turned around, and before you could like do facial recognition and see if it was, she was like giving you a hug, and you're like, oh, that's nice. And she reached down and grabbed a handful of your butt.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, you jumped back, right? And you kind of pushed her off, like, it surprised you.
It did surprise me.
I don't know what you said, because I wasn't up there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I said once you finish the story. Go ahead.
So, anyway, I actually didn't know about it, because I was back there, like, conversing with people and, you know, talking about their next steps and where they're going and stuff. But you came back and you told everybody in the group what happened.
But remember, some of them saw it because they were facing me.
There were a couple, that saw what happened.
Yeah, they saw what happened, and they were laughing. They were laughing about it. And
that's right.
Because remember, I asked them, I was like, is this typical? Like, is this how everybody greets each other around here? Because if so, this is an establishment that I don't want to be in. So
there's this extra caveat of, we kind of had we weren't married, we were dating.
Right.
But similar to our friends, like, no wedding ring situation.
Yeah, no rings.
We actually, we didn't have the rings, but we actually hadn't told, like, a few of those people that were friends with us and some of our closer students to us knew that we were dating.
Right.
But a majority of people didn't even know that we were dating, because we just kind of kept it under wraps as we were trying to figure out how that relationship was going to look for us.
Right.
Yeah, that was super awkward.
Hey, it wasn't my fault.
But she did touch you.
Oh yeah, she touched me, but it wasn't my fault.
That was definitely super awkward for me.
Yeah, y'all got to go listen in to that.
I'm sure it was awkward for you too, but it was really awkward for me.
Yeah.
And people really didn't know we were together.
No.
So it made it even more awkward.
Yeah, because you couldn't say nothing.
Right. But there were a couple people who knew, which actually probably made it even more awkward, because then they kept looking at me like what? And I was just
What's
like,
going on?
what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I can't, like,
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wanted to beat that girl up.
I was really upset that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was flattered. I was flattered.
I mean, maybe you should have been.
You know?
Hey, whatever you like. Yeah, I might still be a little sour about it.
Oh, man.
So our last one is from definitely one of our most popular episodes to date. It's one that people ask me about often.
Yeah, this is a popular one.
Very recent, like so recent, after we actually started numbering our episodes, which, we probably should have done in the first place, but we didn't. That's fine. So it was one of our numbered ones, which I, of course, didn't write down the number, but it's your job to do the dishes.
Yeah. I think that the feedback that we got after releasing that one and all the questions and the people asking for insight, I was like, man, and then the downloads that continue to happen on this episode.
Yeah.
This is one that, is really popular.
Yeah, I think this is one that's really important. And it's just one that people have a hard time talking to their partner about. And we get it because we've been there. So here it's your job to do the dishes.
It was crazy, y'all. Like, in the morning, she'd wake up frustrated. And I'm just like, why are you waking up mad? You just slept good. You're supposed to be waking up on the right side of the bed, positive.
That's true.
And because of all the things that she, had to do or she thought she had to do by herself, she was already stressed out about that as soon as she got up in the morning. That's kind of also was like one of the determining factors of how I was led to kind of open that conversation and to navigate it a little bit, because I was getting it in the morning and I was getting it at night, and then I was just like, all right, like, what can I do? How can I help? And you told me what I could do and how I could help, and then I shared some of my feedback on how I've tried to do that in the past and it did not work out in my favor. So I think that's kind of what led to the conversation. I think that morning thing, though, really got to me more than anything else.
That's true.
Because my whole day was just like, I was walking out the door just like, oh my gosh, like.
And I felt that way too.
Yeah.
Because my perception was I was bearing the burden of getting everybody ready, getting everybody out the door, getting the lunches packed by myself, like getting all this stuff done by myself. But his point to me was so good, was like, you have not one time asked for my help, and you expect, like, I get up, I do what I need to do, I help out as much as I can, but you're ahead of me getting there so fast because you think that you have to be the one in charge of all of these things, and you're not one time asking for my help.
True story.
Very true story.
Yeah.
That was frustrating.
Yeah, and it was frustrating for me too. And we just were not communicating in the most effective way for our relationship, or just to get our family ready and out the door in the mornings, which is just one of those things that you kind of have to do because, you got school and work and all the stuff. So when we finally sat down, like, that was an episode that was based on a real life conversation that we actually had that week or the week before. And once we got through that, we're like, other people probably have these same issues, and we found out that they do.
Yeah, lots of people do.
Yeah. So that was our last clip. That was a very recent episode. We've done a few more since then that are all really good. You should go back and obviously listen to our entire season, our year 1. We're about to round into year 2 of the Success in Black and White podcast. So, what do you have as a vision for year 2 of our podcast?
I don't know. I don't want to put no vision out there because it changed so much.
It does.
It depends on what the people are looking for, what they're asking for, how they're engaging, what we're talking about. So we definitely will plan something out and get something in store for year 2. But I'm just excited to have made it through year 1.
Me too.
And to have been consistent and to have seen the growth that we've seen and to have received all the support that we have received. I'm just thankful and excited about that. But year 2, I think we're going to come back and cover some new topics, revisit some topics that we kind of started but didn't really dive that deep into. And I think that we're going to continue to encourage, inspire, and motivate people to become better, to level up, and to also get a better understanding of how to navigate different relationships. And I think in year 2, we're going to work to try to do more interviews to get insight from ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I think that's going to be one of our goals, is to do that and to get some more people involved and to get insight from other people.
Yeah, that's a focus. And we know we've gotten a lot of feedback that you guys like us, and we appreciate that. And we also do want to share insight on just some of the cool things that other people are doing and being successful with. But you're still going to get us.
Always.
You're going to get the real.
The real.
And Daryl's yo-yo-yos.
Yo.
That's right. So yeah, I agree with all those things. I'm excited for what this next year is going to bring. And I think that's it. This has
been a long one. We gave y'all a lot, but it's been a year. So we kind of wanted to share some of the things that we have done. Almost like I haven't even been doing this that long. So definitely want to share that. And we thank y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Don't forget to go and subscribe. Tell your friends about us and subscribe. And thank you for listening.
Yeah. So it's never too late to make success your lifestyle.
Until next time.
We out.
Bye.
Peace.